President Trump is pushing forward with his White House ballroom project, trying to rush the approval process, laying out a 9-week timeline with the first informal presentation scheduled for next week. The Washington Post reports that officials plan to complete in months a process that usually took nearly 2 years for a White House security fence that was significantly smaller than the ballroom, and in what appears to be an effort to make sure that the president gets his way. The Post also reports that the administration is looking to install Trump appointees to the Fine Arts Commission, a panel that can give the president the green light for his ballroom, even though a lawsuit over it is still playing out in court. Joining me here in studio is one of the authors of that new reporting, Jonathan Edwards, a reporter with the Washington Post, and Julia Manchester, a White House reporter at The Hill. Thanks to you both. Jonathan, tell us about this expedited 9-week timeline.
Laura, thanks for having me. Yes, for the first time since the White House announced this project on July 31st, we've got a concrete timeline that the White House laid out on Wednesday for its plan to win approval from the National Capital Planning Commission and the Commission of Fine Arts. It all culminates on March 5th when the White House plans to formally present this to the commission, the National Capital Planning Commission, and hopefully, get a yay vote.
Hopefully it gets approved, even though with the people that I talked to that were also on the National Capital Planning Commission, this kind of thing, they would submit these review processes and their plan even before demolishing a building. But Julia, does the White House have any explanation for why they're going through this kind of process, why they've changed it, and why they're only submitting it now, about 2 months after the demolition?
Right. I mean, I think the White House wants to make it seem, or at least say they're complying with the process and moving forward, but it really is moving quickly. I mean, earlier today, we saw that the president was in Palm Beach literally shopping for marble for the White House ballroom earlier. So I think it's something they're looking to get out of the way as soon as possible. They want to plow through this. And we have to remember the president also has a number of other construction and renovation projects. We know that he's renovated a number of rooms in the White House, the Rose Garden. He's touted potential renovations for the Kennedy Center, which he's renamed the Trump Kennedy Center.
Which he also is looking at marble for.
Exactly. So it seems like it's a checklist right now for the White House as President Trump seemingly looks to leave this physical mark on Washington, D.C.
Jonathan, in your reporting, you also point out that the White House is reconstituting the Fine Arts Panel, which you mentioned, that will review its ballroom application. What more can you tell us about how they're changing that panel?
That was driven by my fantastic reporting partner, Dan Diamond. And yes, all 7 of those seats right now are vacant. And that is a function of President Trump firing, the previous folks who held those appointments. We have found that he has invited former members that were previously fired by President Biden back and to reinstitute them on the commission. I believe invitations have been extended to 5 folks. That commission needs 4 for a quorum. So it would, in effect, sort of stack that commission with the votes that he needs to win approval for the ballroom project, which is very similar to what he's done on the National Capital Planning Commission. In July, he appointed 3 White House officials who are staunch allies of his, and many of the other members are ex officio, or they're apportioned to members of his cabinet.
Right, a theme here, which is that on both of these 2 key committees, the National Capital Planning Commission as well as the Fine Arts Panel, he is putting yes men, loyal members on these panels, and he did it at the Kennedy Center. But Julia, the president spoke earlier this week about his plans for the ballroom. Let's take a listen.
It's bigger than I told you. It's after realizing we're going to do the inauguration in that building, it's got all bulletproof glass. It's got all drone, they call it drone-free roof. So drones won't touch it. It's a big, beautiful, safe building.
Julia, what more do we know about the plans for how this building, how this room will ultimately be used?
Well, look, we know that President Trump has also talked about, his frustrations with having, when dignitaries or foreign leaders come to the White House, that there isn't a big enough space for them. We know that traditionally a lot of it has been held in sort of where the East Wing was, or at least some of it, or, under a tented area. So he's talked about that for this. But, his comment about the inauguration was interesting. I mean, are we going to see more swearing-ins in this building? We don't really know. We know that traditionally that's been done at the Capitol. I assume he's talking about some sort of a ballroom. Yes, exactly. So I'm thinking it's maybe for an inaugural ball, et cetera. But this definitely does seem to be like more of a reception area that the president is touting. He's, like I said, he's been very frustrated, I think, with the current makeup of the White House and how he's been able to host others. So he wants this to be big. But it's obviously getting a lot of pushback from Democrats on Capitol Hill, and he's going to have to work his way around that.
And we'll have to see where that lawsuit ends up against his demolition of the East Wing. Jonathan Edwards, Julia Manchester, thank you.